Thank you, Ben, and thank you to all the students that helped organize this terrific event. I'm Delegate Bill Frick, and if you're just now tuning in to the Attorney General's race, I'm going to save you a few minutes and teach you a little something. I am not the political establishment choice to be your next Attorney General. It's true. And because of that, some folks have told me I'm an underdog. Some folks have said I'm a long shot. Some folks have gone so far as to say my campaign is a lost cause. But let me tell you a little something. I think they're wrong. And there's something else. I'm not afraid to be an underdog. All right? I'm not afraid to fight for long shots that I believe in, or lost causes that matter. When I lent my name to marriage equality 6 years ago, I didn't do it because it was easy. I didn't do it because it was simple. I did it because of a simple proposition. I believe in equal rights under the law. I took on Wall Street and the credit reporting agencies on behalf of Maryland consumers, and I didn't do it because they were weak and we were strong. I did it because the consumers of Maryland needed someone to stick up for them and provide equal protection under the law. When I supported the DREAM Act and the DREAM Kids, it wasn't because dreamers were popular. It was because of a simple concept: equal opportunity under the law. Now, your next Attorney General is going to have a chance to fight for causes, and your next Attorney General better be a man or a woman that embraces those lost causes and those long shots, because some of the most important issues of our day are long shots and lost causes. Public education is a lost cause. The middle class is a lost cause. The Chesapeake Bay is an underdog. And if I'm your next Attorney General, I can promise you, I will use every day, every minute, every ounce of the power of this great office to fight for these causes. Because these are the causes that make me run. These are the causes that made me want to be a lawyer in the first place. And these are the causes that make me a Democrat. And since my time's up, let me just finish with one simple idea. As we've seen with marriage equality, as we've seen with the DREAM Act, there's a funny thing about underdogs and lost causes. They have a way of winning. Thank you.
Next up will be Delegate Cardin.
Thank you very much, Ben, and thank you to all the groups that helped organize this event. It's an honor and a pleasure to be back here at the University of Maryland School of Law. We live in a rapidly changing world. I'm running for Attorney General to keep Maryland 2 steps ahead of those new threats facing our families. 30 years ago, when we thought about public safety, it was about crime on the streets. When we thought about consumer protection, it was about making sure that you bought a safe new car. When we thought about environmental protection, it was about trash in the oceans. And when we thought about civil rights, the road to equality seemed long and nearly impossible to navigate. Well, those issues are still with us today. Crime in the streets, trash in our bay, con artists and bigots are still with us today. But the world is changing. The internet and other new technologies exacerbate old problems, and they give criminals new methods of exploiting you. Reduction of violent crime is still our priority. But now we also have to think about hacking and online privacy and cyber crimes. In addition to traditional tactics, gangs are now recruiting and operating online. We still need to clean up the bay. It's our bay. But we also have to think about reduction of carbon emissions and their impact on climate change. In addition to toxic or lead-laced toys and onerous utility bills, we're now dealing with websites that are trying to steal your credit card numbers or fish for personal information. And in today's struggle for civil rights, we're fighting against voter ID laws that are taking away your right to vote. And we're also fighting against domestic violence. And we're fighting against racial profiling. As one of the most progressive and pragmatic legislators, as a full-time general practice lawyer, and as an unapologetic supporter of the Democratic Party and its principles, I think I'm uniquely qualified to tackle these next-generation issues without losing sight of old and persistent problems. I look forward to being the next Attorney General, and I'm going to look for your support. Thank you all very much.
I honestly don't think you could have timed that any better. So thank you for pulling that off. You are next up. Just to catch you up to speed, as you know, there's a 2-minute presentation of your platform to begin with. So if you're ready, you're on.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Delegate Aisha Braveboy, and I do apologize for being a little tardy, but I am chair of the Legislative Black Caucus, and our caucus, along with the Women's Caucus, were interviewing judges for the Court of Special Appeals this afternoon, and we had 17 candidates. So we had to get through a lot of work in a short period of time, but I'm so blessed and happy to be here with you this evening. And I look forward to your support as I make a historic run to be the next Attorney General for the state of Maryland. And, excuse me, when I look at the office of the Attorney General, I look at that office as the office that stands between people and justice, that stands between the average person and their rights being protected. You know, as a lawyer, I have represented numerous families who have been subject to unscrupulous practices by those in the mortgage industry. As a legislator, I have, of course, passed laws to assist those families. But it is the practice of law, and it is my intentional desire to be a social engineer in my practice of law that has led to several families in my home county of Prince George's being able to stay in and keep their homes. And as Attorney General, I would continue to encourage attorneys around the state to participate in the pro bono practice of law in the area of foreclosures. I would also hold banks accountable for their unscrupulous practices. Many of our properties now are those that are real estate owned or bank owned properties. In some neighborhoods, like in the wealthier neighborhoods, they move off the market very quickly, and those individuals' property values are preserved. However, in many of the poor communities or minority communities, banks are not treating those properties in the same way. And what happens is the individuals living in those homes are losing their values, which means they're losing their wealth. Is that it for me? 30 seconds. They're losing their wealth. And it is an economic injustice in this state for us to allow banks who are making record profits to benefit off the backs of working people in our state who are just trying to maintain their homes. You know, the Attorney General is about justice, and we need to bring justice to all people of our state, regardless of wealth, and regardless of class, and regardless of race. And as your next Attorney General, I promise you that I will be that voice for justice for all. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Senator Frosch.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here with you. It's an honor to share the stage with my colleagues. I want to tell you why I'm running for Attorney General and why I'm the one best qualified for the job. The job of the Attorney General is to protect and improve the lives of all Marylanders, and that's been my life's work. In the General Assembly, I've been the author of numerous laws that protect our environment, including the Maryland Recycling Act, the law that stopped the oil companies from drilling for oil in the Chesapeake Bay. I'm the sponsor of laws that protect consumers from cheats and frauds and scams and help them save their homes from the threat of foreclosure. And as chairman of the Judicial Proceedings Committee, I've led the committee and the Senate through a series of landmark bills in the past 11 years, and in especially the past two, the Marriage Equality Act, repeal of the death penalty, and the Firearm Safety Act, a bill that I poured my heart and soul into and that I believe will save thousands of lives in our state. Look, criminals have lawyers, as they should. The banks, the insurance companies, the polluters, the special interests have the best lawyers money can buy. The rest of us have the Attorney General. The Attorney General should be the people's lawyer. That's the job that I'm running for. The Attorney General represents moms who are bringing up their kids in dangerous neighborhoods, kids themselves, whether they're at home or at school or online, represents every single Marylander who wants to breathe clean air and drink clean water. As Attorney General, I will be the people's lawyer. I will represent all of us. I will represent you. I will fight for justice, and I look forward to your questions. Thanks for having us here.